Cocktails with the homies.
All right, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Cocktails with the Homies. I'm Daniel, your host, and today I'm accompanied by a really great bartender in the city at a place that, honestly, I think more people should be coming to. Sydney, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely.
My name is Sydney. I'm a bartender here at the Guild Hotel. We are located in the Columbia District in the historic Armed Forces YMCA building that was built in 1924. The building itself is now 100 years old. We just celebrated our centennial celebration on New Year's. So that's really exciting.
And when she's not a bartender here, she's the tour guide. So you make sure you come in, you get the full tour, make her make you a cocktail. How did you get started in this industry?
I just needed a job. That's what it came down to. My first industry job, I was working at this little hole-in-the-wall pizza shop called Strami's Pizzeria, located in D'Iberville, Mississippi. It was run by this crazy Russian guy that just didn't pay us, and we would work extremely long hours, wouldn't get paid. But I think that's kind of like where I fell in love with the hustle and bustle of the industry. Constantly moving, constantly going. You never really know what's around the next corner. So exciting.
You hail from Mississippi?
Hail State. No, I'm just kidding.
Hail.
I was born out here, but I was raised there. So I kind of got the best of both worlds.
Cool, yeah.
Right.
Absolutely. So starting in the other side of the country and in harsh conditions, so it seems, what are major obstacles that you've had to like kind of maneuver through in this industry?
Everyone talks about it being a male-dominated industry, and like sure it is, but I see a lot of women that come through and that do amazing work. But for me, my personal obstacles would, for bartending in particular, it would be being a sober bartender.
Okay, let's touch on that. That seems pretty brutal, honestly, to kind of put yourself through.
Yeah.
From at least my perspective of it.
I think the first time I did a straw taste test, it was like a little bit of a shock to my nervous system.
Okay.
Luckily, at the time, I had an amazing support system. I mean, still do, but my boss was checking in on me, wanted to make sure I was okay, and I was. And I had to like be honest with myself too. Like, do I want to keep drinking, or am I okay with just stopping and tasting this? And I think that what it came down to was it grew into just an aspect of my job. It's just a part of my job now. I definitely like stay hydrated throughout the day, and if I do one straw taste test, I'm not going to go back for like 3 more, that's for sure. But I think that I had a really difficult time, and sometimes still grapple with trying to marry like the two communities that I'm a part of, whether it's the bartending community or the sober community. I know there's bartenders that believe that if you don't drink, you're probably not a good bartender. And I also had people in my sober community who would sometimes take my inventory and say, well, if you're doing straw taste tests, you're not really sober. But I think what it comes down to is your intention behind everything, and being true to yourself and being as authentic as you can possibly be. And just being honest with yourself. And there's times where sometimes I'll catch myself saying like, oh, I bet I could have a beer. I'm not too triggered. But that in itself is like, is my drinking patterns coming back up, right? So I know better. I know that I can't just have one drink. I like to keep going. So
to me, that's super cool to see, because at the end of the day, you truly like peel back all the layers, and you are a servant of flavor at the end of the day. Because when you were telling me you cooked, like that's how you started, right? In like the cooking side of the world. And like I think that's super cool to see, because you don't do it for the money, you don't deal with these demons for anything else other than you just really love to do this, huh?
I felt like whenever I worked in kitchens, I enjoyed it and I loved it, but I didn't feel the same like flair of passion that I do behind the bar. I think it could be like working under chefs, and those conditions are harsh too.
For sure.
Working in a kitchen, it's rough. You're cutting yourself, you're burning yourself, you have a chef telling you that you're not shit, and sometimes you can believe that, but in a way they're also just trying to build you up. They're trying to see like what your breaking point is, but they're doing their job, you know what I mean? And they're probably just giving you the same treatment that they received that catapulted them to like the level that they're at now. But sometimes it doesn't necessarily work for everybody. I like praise. I like being told that I'm doing a good job, and that's what I get working here. I have an amazing manager. He inspires me on a regular basis, and he pushes me to he pushes me to the next level that I want to be at by pushing the envelope himself. Just like watching like his creative side of his brain work, it like makes me go home, and sometimes like ideas will flow to me during meditation. I'll think, oh, that's a really cool idea, we should definitely like implement that. Or sometimes it's when I'm just jacked on a bunch of caffeine and we're just going. But I think that it's interesting finding a niche behind the bar and not drinking, and I think that it ignited my passion again. And I can still have a love for alcohol without drinking. It's just a different type of love now. It's more of a newfound respect that I have for like spirits in general.
Absolutely.
And I love working with them, and I love creating, and I love making drinks that make people happy, and people saying, hey, that's really, really good. Or sometimes people say, maybe you should have kept that one in the drafts, you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, it's all a learning experience.
For sure. And building on this like idea of learning, in my creative process for all these cocktails that I try to make, I indulge, right? I go in, I drink, I go to bars and stare at bottles. Take me into like your kind of path for R&Ding and like your creative process, seeing as how you are like opposite spectrum from me, like.
It really just comes down to me being in my kitchen and doing what I love. A lot of the drinks that I come up with, they're inspired by food.
So you still go in, like, you start your day cooking, and then from a dish you'll go, holy shit, this would be a good fucking drink. Or
sometimes not even cooking, but just going different places and tasting different things. I don't even have a flavor Bible at my house, but based off of what I like, I know what flavors complement each other and what flavor profiles I'm trying to, what's the word I'm looking for? Flavor profiles I'm trying to...
What do you mean, like rediscover?
Reach? I don't know. But,
I mean, essentially, because like, I don't know if I've ever one time or indeed one thing the first time and been like, oh, this is perfect, like.
Oh my gosh, no, this thing right here, the Jamaican jerk Mai Tai.
Yeah, tell us about it. The cocktail you made today.
So yeah, it's inspired by Jamaican jerk chicken. I love Jamaican jerk chicken. It's absolutely delicious. I love all the flavors going on with jerk seasoning itself, with the allspice to the clove, plantain, I guess, like on the side, if you will, although there's not really any of that going on here. And I think that last year I was in this place where I was really into savory cocktails. I loved the idea of a savory cocktail. I've been talking about this thing for a while, but I'm still going to do a gumbo dirty martini. I'm going to figure it out. We're going to make it happen, so stay tuned. But for this one, I learned very quickly that clove is so incredibly overpowering, and so when a recipe calls for one clove or 3 cloves, just do one and maybe do it at the end, especially if you're extracting it with alcohol. It took about 3 or 4 tries of making this Amaro in order to get it just right. And it was disheartening a couple times having to keep going back to the drawing board, because once again, like, I wasn't doing it here, I was doing it at my house. So all of the resources that I had, I was paying for. And I was just trying to figure it out. But you know, that's kind of where the magic happened, and that's where I felt like the most like myself. Like I just felt like just at ease, you know, just in the kitchen creating things, putting all these different herbs and roots and botanicals together. It felt really, really cool. And then watching the process itself, and I mean, I went through so many different Reddits to figure out how to make an Amaro. I had to learn like what your bittering root ratio was to like your other complementary like flavors. So it was challenging, but we got there, and now we're making all kinds of fun Amari. Yeah,
rewarding for sure. This drink is amazing. If you guys can come out here and try it again at the Guild, it is really, really good. Also, this little guy right here that she also made, please tell us all about this, because this is really, really interesting and really, really good.
So this is a Dr. Pepper Amaro that we made. This idea actually did come from being cracked on a bunch of coffee. I was here at the Guild one day, and I looked up over at my coworker Krista, and I just said, what if we did a Dr. Pepper Amaro with kava? Wouldn't that be cool? Because kava comes from like a derivative of some sort of a pepper root itself. I'll do my mustache. So sometimes that's how I taste things too, is I'll just put it up to my upper lip, like the upper lip.
Yeah.
Still get it.
Get the nose still.
Yeah, the aromatics as well. So it's, you know, it's a lot more effective than doing a straw taste test.
That's interesting.
Cheers. Once again, this one was difficult to kind of conquer as well. Although the turnaround time was a lot shorter than the Jerk Amaro. I kind of did learn my lesson, but kind of didn't learn my lesson at the same time. This one took about 2 weeks, and after the first week of extraction, I realized that once again the clove was so overpowering. So what we were getting was a root beer Amaro, and a very numbing root beer Amaro. So we had to go back in, take all of the same ingredients again, just without the licorice root, the clove, and without the star anise. And I think I nixed the pimento as well, because there is pimento in here also.
Okay. Now, are you taking it straight from like your own distillate, or are you finding one and then fortifying that?
Finding one and fortifying.
Okay.
So distilling is kind of the next venture that I want to get into. Gin fascinates me.
Oh yeah, there's so many ways to make it too. It's so like nutty when you like really dive into gin.
So if there's any distilleries watching this, hire me. But gin for sure is something that I'm interested in getting my hands on, and then gradually getting more into whiskeys, bourbon in particular.
Okay.
So, we'll see.
Yeah. So kind of like getting a little away from the topic of, you know, you and R&Ding. I actually got a couple like funner questions if you want to, you know, indulge me. If you had a deathbed cocktail and shot, what would you choose?
What was that?
Yeah, on your deathbed, you had a chance to get one shot and one cocktail.
That actually works out perfectly, because I do say that if I'm dying, I will drink again. I would do a shot of Lagavulin 16.
Okay.
And for
Not what I thought.
For my cocktail, I mean, I would sip it, you know.
I mean, yeah.
Shoot it, but
for sure.
For my cocktail, probably a Negroni.
Okay. You ended with class, huh?
Negroni's delicious. Absolutely
and this journey
delicious.
with class.
And there are definitely times where I'll be behind the bar and I'll do a straw taste test of a Negroni, and I'm just like, damn, you know, I really wish I could have this.
Yeah.
But I can't. And it's okay. But it's so good.
All right. How about another one? If you could have a person in time to drink with, who would that be? And if you could make them the cocktail, what would you make them?
I mean, probably my grandfather. I mean, he passed away whenever I was in 4th grade, but whenever I was a kid, he and I had a really close relationship. As for the drink that I'd make him, probably whatever he liked. I don't know what he liked. I can't remember much about him.
Okay.
So that's where I would go with that. If you're looking for a celebrity, I've got no answers for you.
Oh no, it could be whoever. I was just curious what you would make them even. All right, my last kind of like little out there. If I gave you $10 million right now, In San Diego, what bar would you, like, what style of bar would you make here?
What style of bar would I
Make here, yeah. I think it's super interesting to get people stakes. Like right now in this like atmosphere we're in San Diego, what do you think, what would you like to do? You know, that's a fairy tale right there. And we know some bartenders who have had the regulars come up and literally tell them, I got a bar, you got a brain, let's make it happen. So
yeah, I mean,
we can dream.
I love craft cocktails, but I also love dive bars, you know? So I don't know. I love what Gillies is doing right now. I think that's really cool.
Okay.
So they're kind of like marrying the two together.
Yeah, throw a craft cocktail on draft, huh?
But you know what? If I were, I would want to recreate something like Lion Share. You get the best. You get the best of all worlds there. And not only that, but it's a huge industry hub too.
Yeah, yeah,
so you
for
always
sure.
walk in, you see some friends.
Yeah, shout out Dante, the new executive chef at Lion Share. Congratulations, brother. Worked with him a long time, and the man deserves every blessing he gets, honestly. But Lion Share is a great bar. You're absolutely right.
I'll be there tonight, probably.
If you could name your best, like, who you think is the best bartender in the city, who do you think it would be right now? And they can't be from here.
They can't be from here?
They cannot be from here.
Elena. Lion Share.
A Lion Share.
Shout out to Lion Share again. I love watching your work.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, they do a great job over there at Lion Share, honestly. So we're gonna kind of segue into a little thing that we do on this episode or on this podcast. It's called Quickfire with the homies.
Oh shit. Oh shit. I looked over these.
Yeah.
It's contradictory.
They can get you sometimes. So either it be drinks or just in general. You just gotta choose. You gotta answer the question.
All right.
You're in it. All right. We'll start with drinks. Espresso martini or carajillo?
Carajillo.
What?
Love Liquor 43. Love it. Absolutely love it.
Do you get it straight up, or do you get like do you whisper to the bartender, throw some mezcal in there, or something weird?
I think it is a little bit too sweet by itself. I will say that. So sometimes
Same.
we'll cut it with a different spirit, whether it's like a rum or a tequila. Mezcal is delicious too.
Yeah.
But between the two, definitely a Carajillo all day.
Okay. I kind of know where this next one is going, but Negroni or Boulevardier?
Boulevardier. Boulevardier. But I think a Negroni is objectively one of the best cocktails in the world.
Yeah. I love a Negroni, I'm not gonna lie.
I love Boulevardiers personally.
Okay. Bourbon old fashioned or rye old fashioned?
Depends on the rye.
No, that's not what I said.
All right. Bourbon old fashioned.
Okay. Like a little sweetness in your life?
I do.
Okay.
However, if it's Michter's rye, then Michter's rye old fashioned.
Would you go back if you had a chance to a bar or a kitchen? Like the bar you wanted or the kitchen you wanted, which one would you do?
Bar. I feel like I have more creative freedom in a bar. I'm just a better bartender than I was a cook. If I'm being honest, like cooking was great and I had fun. I think bartending has made me a better cook.
Interesting. How do you think so?
Like I said, whenever I was working in kitchens, I kind of just lost my passion. You know, you're working under somebody else and it's their menu items, and they're usually great, right? They're a chef for a reason, absolutely. And of course they're also catering to like the favorites and the locals and stuff like that. But I found myself wanting to explore more behind the bar. You know, I never made syrups in a kitchen or sacrams in a kitchen. I never played with agar in a kitchen, as opposed to like now behind the bar you can make like gummies and I don't know. So it's just, and even I did a little bit of pastry too, and I feel like I can take some of that information and apply it behind the bar, but I feel like all of the stuff that I'm learning behind the bar, I can definitely apply it in the kitchen. So I would say bar, hands down. But I have mad respect for all the people that stay in kitchens that cook.
Oh, for sure, 100%.
Doing God's work.
Yeah, they are. Doing the Lord's work. I think I'd do the same too. I'd go back to a bar.
Yeah.
Like I'd go to a kitchen. I feel like if I owned it and I didn't have to be the chef there, but I could like just dive into R&D. But
it's, you know, I feel like bartending, working in a kitchen, there's just so many things that can like potentially go wrong, right?
Yeah.
Whereas in a bar, like if you fuck up,
you just toss it into the train.
You can start all over again, and you've got everything right here. Whereas in a kitchen, if you like fuck up this steak, you can't go get another steak.
Yeah.
Get another piece of meat.
And then someone's staring at you because they're like, "That was $200." You know, like you fuck up a good porterhouse.
So you have, it's more of like a playground behind the bar. You can play a little bit more, and you have room for more error, and also room for more improvement.
I really like the turnaround too on cocktails. Like you can R&D and flip a cocktail every 3 months and call it seasonal every 4 months.
It's true.
You know, I loved it. And you know, you don't have to deal with a billion things like a dish. Like cocktails, 4 things.
Yeah.
But okay, let's see. Digestif or an aperitif? Which would you prefer? Being as you're in a
digestif.
Okay.
Something to settle the stomach as you're leaving, as opposed to like amuse, you know?
Yeah.
I like a nice green tea for an aperitif, to be honest with you. Something to get it going, but if I were to choose between the two, digestif for sure.
Cool.
Or aperitivo, excuse me.
Fuck yeah. See, it wasn't that hard.
Was that it?
Yeah, that was it.
Oh man.
That's all I had.
We gotta try it again, you guys. No, I'm kidding. We're gonna roll it.
Harder ones. Cool. Like, so you know, you've been in this industry a while. You've done both sides. What are kind of some tips and tricks you could give to someone who's just like super green, who doesn't know what to really do to kind of like squeeze their way in? Do you have any kind of tips or tricks you could tell someone to, you know, kind of focus on, or like at least have in the back of their head while they're kind of diving into this world?
I would say find out what it is that fires you up, like what it is that brought you here, what your passion is, and strive for that feeling, as opposed to wanting to, like, let's say wanting to be a cook, to want to be a cook. Shit, most of the time I like the way I looked in a chef coat, if I'm being honest with you, you know? I wanted to learn knife skills, but it wasn't something that made me really excited, you know? So I would say that, ask a lot of questions, take suggestions, especially if it's somebody that's been doing this for a lot longer than you. I would definitely listen to your peers, and yeah, be super annoying, ask a lot of questions, and don't be afraid to say that you don't know.
For sure.
Don't be afraid to fuck up. You're gonna fuck up.
Well,
I fuck up every day.
There was a great saying I was told, and it's like, it goes something like, the day you think you learned it all, you become the dumbest person in the room.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
Yeah.
And be nice to guests. That should be a good
They deserve it.
be nice to the people that are paying your bills, for sure.
Absolutely.
And remember, like, that's what the focal point is all about, right? Guest satisfaction. And then have fun with it. Make that be your secondary thing.
I love it. You know, we've been trying to get you on the show. We talked about it a while, and like, I think you truly are a really good bartender to kind of look towards people out there. You do a great job, and talking to you, you find out you literally do it because you like food, you like flavor.
It's fun.
You know, it is fun. It is fun. I think people take this job too seriously, or just make it far more difficult than like what it is.
I think I take it a little too seriously sometimes. I get a little anal about things.
Don't get me wrong, that's good. It's good, right? Like,
I get weird.
Yeah, I mean, putting good stress on yourself does you good. It does benefits for you, right? Like, you keep costs down, you keep your head on right, you stay focused, you hit these goals that you're trying to get. But at the same time, like, we really are trying to put on this funner environment for people, right? Like, at the end of the day, you're trying to get people to want to drink.
Yeah.
You can't do that when you fucking hate them.
Exactly. But actually, can I touch back on one more thing?
Please.
When you go home at night, do like a little inventory of things that you could have done better, you know, for the day, but also, you know, highlight the things that you did well. So don't sit there and just steep in what you could have done better. But like,
you gotta let it go.
Yeah, we gotta let it go, but also think about like the things that you did well and how you want to keep doing those things the following day, and how you can make little minor adjustments like each moment to do what you should have done, right?
I love it.
I need to do more of that. I used to, but not so much anymore.
It's good to know that. It's good to practice that, and you know, finishing off with that last little tidbit of wisdom is, I think, a perfect way to end this.
Yay.
You know, so thank you so much, Sydney, for being here and joining us, and you know, kind of pushing this whole community we're trying to move forward in this city, because San Diego is fucking slept on, to be honest with you.
I think we have such, I agree, but I think that we have such a great community, like the bartending community here. Everyone just like gasses each other up, and I'm here
100%.
for it. We're all each other's biggest cheerleaders at the end of the day, and I love it.
Yeah, I love it. Talking about being someone else's cheerleader, we are kind of launching a new platform with Cocktails with the Homies called Catching Up with the Homies. It's a calendar that we're putting on our website. You know, I told you a little bit about this earlier, with the goal of kind of corralling all of these different events and educations and parties and, you know, exposés of bartenders that, you know, really deserve some attention. So please, people, tune in, check out our website, go check out these events, sign up for them, and really go out and support an amazing city that's on the come up with bartenders like Sydney right here.
I'm kidding. That's me.
Well, thanks again, Sydney. I love you so much. Cheers.
Okay, cheers. For my mustache.
And that is Cocktails with the Homies.